I'm back from Florida. It has been 2 months and I've been working on this project for up to about 5 months, maybe even 6. Something pretty cool happened whilst I was away. Check it out. As you can see, it's all settled. Now all I've got to do is remove that top layer and put it into a separate jar. That's gonna be tough. Okay, at this point I'm becoming a pro at this. Now check this out. This is the ultimate version, the ultimate Ormus. Now this right here isn't actually Ormus just yet. This is actually known as oxide of copper. As you can see, it's kind of tinted green because of all of the other things I put in there, all of the other elements, such as the coconut fiber that was burnt to ash along with the wood. And so it's taken on not only the color of oxide of copper, which is just a copper molecule bonded to an oxygen molecule, but also it's gone kind of greenish yellow instead of just blue. I have to raise that pH to around about 4 and then remove what comes of it, which should be Ormus, but the Ormus that I can't ingest. My last pH meter broke because I dropped that pH below 0 and it busted 2 of my pH meters, 3 of my pH meters, so I had to buy another one, which I brought yesterday before arriving to the UK. I need to take a pH reading of this. Problem is when you let stuff like this sit, it actually raises in pH. So that may have been below 0 the last time I checked 2 months ago, but now it's probably around about 13, which means I would have to then lower it again to 1, not past 0, because that's the mistake I did last time. You're not supposed to go past 0, but I did. So I need to lower it to 1 if this is too alkaline, and then raise it to 4. And then, like I said before, remove what comes of it, which should be Ormus, a couple of Ormus, but the wrong kind of couple of Ormus, the kind that still has some of the pollutants in there. Okay, now I can't actually show you guys what the Ormus is going to look like, because when it comes into contact with either electricity, EMFs, or natural daylight, it'll either disappear or be ruined. Ormus is a living substance. It does not like the light, kind of like bacteria, only it's not bacteria. So what I decided to do instead was take a small sample of the main mix and put it inside of a little test tube. Right there. And to the left of me, I have sodium hydroxide. Okay? I'm going to put a little bit of this in there, and you're actually going to see what Ormus looks like. Okay, now I just want to show you something before I start my day. When I flipped the Ormus into being, it was pure white, okay? And there's a reason for that, I'll tell you that in a second. But then as soon as I exposed it to sunlight, look what happened. What does that look like? That looks like the copper that I'd shown you when I broke it into pieces. Remember, not too long ago? The sunlight has literally flipped the Ormus into its metallic compound. It will do this whenever the Ormus comes into direct contact with sunlight. Also whenever it comes into contact with a oxygen-rich environment. The saying goes that this Ormus is literally like the sperm of the earth. Before it creates everything, every mineral, every substance in this known universe. So you can imagine the implications to this when it enters your body. Apparently, what the Ormus does, because it's so intelligent, is that it can actually scan your body and see what you're deficient in, and then flip into the minerals needed in order for your body to rejuvenate itself. This is why so many people liken this substance to the elixir of youth, eternal youth, everlasting life, the philosopher's stone. I personally believe that life everlasting is actually achievable by doing a series of things to the body. Okay, not just one thing. But this is definitely something to add to your longevity regimen. Yeah. This Ormus is behaving badly. I'm trying to flip it into Ormus, but then it vanishes. I've turned off everything in my house, all the Wi-Fi, my phone, everything, and yet it's still vanishing. Not only that, but the pH is changing. The pH was at 0. I put it up to 0.41, but then I put more sodium hydroxide in there to raise the pH. The pH raises, and then after some time, the pH lowers itself again. It's like the body of water is alive and it's trying to lower its pH deliberately. No matter how much sodium hydroxide I'm putting in there, it just keeps counteracting it somehow and making itself more acidic and causing the Ormus to disappear. So I decided to make a much more potent, stronger version of sodium hydroxide. And I think if I put enough in there to peak it over a certain pH, kind of break its limit, then it should strong arm the solution completely, you know, and counteract its ability to make itself more acidic. I'm going to bring my camera with me. I'll use another camera. This one's not too good in low light situations. I'll show you what it looks like when it disappears. And then I'll turn the camera off because I can't expose it to electricity, otherwise it'll ruin the whole experiment. Okay, now what happened was I won the strong arm, but I ended up putting the pH over 4. I actually went to 6.87, which is way too high. So I had to come downstairs to add some hydrochloric acid. I've probably been calling it hydrogen peroxide this entire time. It's not. It's hydrochloric acid. This is what lowers the pH when it comes to your Ormus making. And sodium hydroxide is what raises the pH. So I had to re-lower the pH, which dissolved the Ormus again. And I lowered it to 4.0. 4.01. See? 4.01, which is the closest I was able to get it. It was on exactly 4, but that 1 decibel had to just come out of nowhere. It'll probably just stay for a little bit and then drop to a 4 once this has completely settled. As you can see, I did manage to make the Ormus stick. Now this is the bad Ormus, the Ormus that you don't want. This is why I raised it to 4 in the first place. Once this has settled and I've gotten clear water on top, or as clear as it can be, kind of like what happened last time, I'll then remove the top from here, and then I'll take that top body of water and raise that to 7.5, and that would be the Ormus that I'll be using for my bodily use, either putting it on my skin or eating it. That was tough though, guys. At one point I thought I might have lost all of my Ormus and just ruined the whole experiment. 5 months worth of learning and small tiny practices going to waste. I'll still need to turn that into Ormus at some point. But this came in the post, which was pretty cool. These are glass bottles because you don't want to put your Ormus in plastic. You know, this will be used later in the future for when I choose to make my Ormus creams to help your skin heal. Nice little pump. It's also got a lock on there, which is pretty cool. And this will be used for the spray, for when I want to spray Ormus on my skin, you know, to help my skin heal and rejuvenate itself. The fact that they're brown helps to block the sunlight, yes, but I will be covering that in aluminium paint, metallic aluminium paint, because only the metallic aluminium paint actually harbors real metal in there, along with some copper metallic paint. And I'll do a few coats of that so that the EMFs from that hub, Wi-Fi hub, won't make my Ormus disappear, and so that natural sunlight can also be deflected from my Ormus. So as you can see, it's already starting to settle, and that's already starting to clear up. Once this settles completely, I can take the top off, and that top's going to be quite big. Okay, I'm looking forward to this. The next time I see you all, it will be when I flip it into Ormus. But actually, I don't think I will see you then, because I don't want to expose it to sunlight or electricity, so I won't be able to record the experiment. Well, we'll see.